Hey guys, Lord Naren White here, the Holy Ghost, the one true God, back with you with the next video in my series reading The Invisible Man by H.G. Wells. Without further ado, returning to The Invisible Man as read by Lord Naren White. Well, have my room, have this room. But how can I sleep? If I sleep, he will get away. Ugh, what does it matter? What's that shot wound? Asked Kemp abruptly. Nothing. Scratch and blood. Oh God, how I want sleep. Why not? The Invisible Man appeared to be regarding Kemp. Because I have a particular objection to being caught by my fellow men, he said slowly. Kemp started. Fool that I am, said the Invisible Man, striking the table smartly. I've put the idea into your head. Chapter 18. The Invisible Man Sleeps. Exhausted and wounded as the Invisible Man was, he refused to accept Kemp's word that his freedom should be respected. He examined the two windows of the bedroom, drew up the blinds, and opened the sashes to confirm Kemp's statement that a return by them would be possible. Outside, the night was very quiet and still, and the new moon was setting over the down. There he examined the keys of the bedroom and the two dressing room doors to satisfy himself that these also could be made an assurance of freedom. Finally, he expressed himself satisfied. He stood on the hearth rug, and Kemp heard the sound of a yawn. I'm sorry, said the Invisible Man, if I cannot tell you all that I have done tonight. But I am worn out. It's grotesque, no doubt. It's horrible. But believe me, Kemp, in spite of your arguments of this morning, it is quite a possible thing. I have made a discovery. I want to keep it to myself. I can't. Excuse me. I must have a partner. And you. We can do such things. But tomorrow. Now, Kemp, I feel as though I must sleep or perish. Kemp stood in the middle of the room staring at the headless garment. I suppose I must leave you, he said. It's incredible. 3 things happening like this, overturning all my preconceptions, would make me insane. But it's real. Is there anything more that I can get you? Only bid me good night, said Griffin. Good night, said Kemp, and shook an invisible hand. He walked sideways to the door. Suddenly the dressing gown walked quickly towards him. Understand me, said the dressing gown. No attempts to hamper me, or capture me, or... Kemp's face changed a little. I thought I gave you my word, he said. Kemp closed the door softly behind him, and the key was turned upon him forthwith. Then, as he stood with an expression of passive amazement on his face, the rapid feet came to the door of the dressing room, and that too was locked. Kemp slapped his brow with his hand. Am I dreaming? Has the world gone mad, or have I? He laughed, and put his hand to the locked door. Barred out of my own bedroom by a flagrant absurdity, he said. He walked to the head of the staircase, turned, and stared at the locked doors. It's a fact, he said. He put his fingers to his slightly bruised neck. Undeniable fact. But... He shook his head hopelessly, turned, and went downstairs. He lit the dining room lamp, got out a cigar, and began pacing the room, ejaculating. Now and then he would argue with himself. Invisible, he said. Is there such a thing as an invisible animal? In the sea, yes. Thousands, millions, all the larvae, all the little Nopli and Tornarias, all the microscopic things, the jellyfish. In the sea, there are more things invisible than visible. I never thought of that before. And in the ponds, too. All those little pond life things, specks of colorless, translucent jelly. But in the air, no. It can't be. But after all, why not? If a man was made of glass, he would still be visible. His meditation became profound. The bulk of 3 cigars had passed into the invisible or diffused as a white ash over the carpet before he spoke again. Then it was merely an exclamation. He turned aside, walked out of the room, and went into his little consulting room and lit the gas there. It was a little room because Dr. Kemp did not live by practice, and in it were the day's newspapers. The morning's paper lay carelessly opened and thrown aside. He caught it and turned it over and read the account of a strange story from Ipping that the mariner at Port Stowe had spelt over so painfully to Mr. Marvel. Kemp read it swiftly. Wrapped up, said Kemp. Disguised, hiding it. No one seems to have been aware of his misfortune. What the devil is his game? He dropped the paper, and his eye went seeking. Ah, he said, and caught up the St. James Gazette, lying folded up as it arrived. Now we shall get at the truth, said Dr. Kemp. He rent the paper open. A couple of columns confronted him. An entire village in Sussex goes mad, was the heading. Good heavens, said Kemp, reading eagerly in an incredulous account of the events in Ipping of the previous afternoon that have already been described. Over the leaf, the report in the morning paper had been reprinted. He reread it. Ran through the streets, striking left, right, and left. Jaffers insensible. Mr. Huckster in great pain. Still undeniable to describe what he saw. Painful humiliation. Vicar. Woman ill with terror. Window smashed. This extraordinary story probably a fabrication. Too good not to print. Cum grano. He dropped the paper and stared blankly in front of him. Probably a fabrication. He caught up the paper again and reread the whole business. But when does the tramp come in? Why the deuce was he chasing a tramp? He sat down abruptly on the surgical bench. He's not only invisible, he said, but he's mad, homicidal. When dawn came to mingle its pallor with the lamp light and cigar smoke of the dining room, Kemp was still pacing up and down, trying to grasp the incredible. He was altogether too excited to sleep. His servants, descending sleepily, discovered him and were inclined to think that overstudy had worked this ill on him. He gave them extraordinary but quite explicit instructions to lay breakfast for 2 in the Belvedere study, and then to confine themselves to the basement and ground floor. Then he continued to pace the dining room until the morning's paper came. That had much to say and little to tell, beyond the confirmation of the evening before, and a very badly written account of another remarkable tale from Port Burdock. We'll go ahead and stop there for this week. As usual, I want to say thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed. Please like, comment, and subscribe, as it greatly helps the channel. Light be with you all. Take care, and thanks again.